You all should be level
13.
13. If you need to level to 13, take the time to do so now. You can move. You're gone.
Now we're level 13.
Yep, 13.
We succeeded on mission. We need a rest.
Yes, but for now you have to deal with domestic disputes.
Fun.
That's Davryl's job.
But
I will try to assist.
can I just take a long nap first?
I mean, your girlfriend and your boss are fighting each other.
But I died today.
I got my ASI.
Roll an insight check to see if you can figure out what they're fighting over.
Let's see. How insightful am I? Hurry up, joy, and let's go.
Yeah, they are absolutely fighting over you. Yeah, because likely it has something to do with the fact that you were briefly dead.
Do they not? Do they see us, or have they noticed us that we pulled up?
Let's see if they noticed you. I suppose you all are not really making an effort to be less stealth, but let's see. Yes, the Rashaya does not notice you, but Doremi does notice when you all magic carpet into frame. You Aladdin. Into frame, yes. And when Doremi sees you and that you are not dead, she like sort of sags in the middle of the blow that she was trying to land on Rashaya. And you notice that Doremi is unarmed. You've never seen her carry a weapon. She's just resorting to fisticuffs and her Jinn powers. Rashaya is armed. And as Doremi takes a moment and like is distracted by you, Rashaya does
Wait, is she moving to attack her sister?
they're in the middle of fighting.
Can I cast Hold Person on Rashaya?
You can after she just hit this natural 20 on her sister.
Oh dear
God.
God.
Silvery Barb.
Hilariously, one, it still hits, and two, it's the same damage because the first one rolled really shitty.
I tried.
You tried. You tried. While Doremi is distracted by you, Rashaya swings up her scimitar and then just catches her sister across the shoulder. And, there's a small gout of blood. She's wounded, but not particularly heavily. Well, not for her. It's 17 points of slashing damage, but she's immune to the lightning and thunder damage that accompanied that. So as the scimitar hits, there's a crackle of thunder and lightning. What do you all do?
Well,
You're an interesting man.
no one else is gonna.
Oh, when
Are
you
you
cast
gonna cast
silver
a monster?
when you cast silvery barbs on Rashaya, she she completes the movement and then just turns to stare at you. Are you gonna cast hold person metal?
I mean, if she moves to attack anyone else, yeah. But like,
It's all calm down, is what I say as I get off magic on me.
I kind of lean over to Cervantes and I'm like, is this normal?
This is just something that happens when dramatic things happen around women.
I kind of catch him with a side eye and she's like, okay.
It's best we let Davril handle this. Lest she step on us.
Metal, maybe prepare that whole person. I sent a message to him. But yeah. So calm down as I walk forward. Actually, I have a bar right here.
And Jeremy like looks back and forth between you and clocks that you look like shit. And looks at her sister. I'm going to sneeze. She does not sneeze at her sister.
mustard.
It's still in there and isn't coming out. That's the worst. But she looks at you, clocks that you're alive, but looking rough, and asks for Shia. How long did you know that he was not dead? And Rashaya says, well, darling, you didn't give me an opportunity to tell you that he was no longer dead, did you? You're gonna go fly off half-cocked? I was only trying to look out for your own best interest.
By stabbing her with a scimitar?
Don't you have siblings?
No.
Clearly not. She's fine.
Look, things happen. We were out and about. I got pretty banged up. Yes, it did happen. And okay, yes, I died. I died for a brief moment, but luckily, Lars was there to bring me back. I'm fine for now. I just walk up to Rashai and I do like take her hand. It's all right. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. Again, not like that anymore.
You say this to Rashire or to Remy?
Durrami, my bad. Durrami.
I was just double checking because I was like,
Sorry. Yeah, no,
that's
no,
a
no.
very different role play happening there.
Yeah, sorry, Durrami. Yeah, I take Durrami's hand. I'm not going anywhere. Right here.
She
Fine.
squeezes your hand as well. That's a relief, at least. It's not really your fault that my sister is a complete and utter asshole. And Rashaya just responds by reaching down to grab the hem of Doremi's like very pretty dress and wipes her scimitar off with it. And puts it back on her belt. It's not my fault my sister has zero sense of patience and suspect taste in men. So, Davril, darling, I let you get away with casting that spell on me once. because you've had a very rough day. And your heart and other organs, I think, were involved in that decision. I wouldn't recommend that you try that again.
I understand, but with all due respect, if you don't mind me saying, it's just using a weapon against your own sister is a bit much, though.
Daffel. She moves the collar of her dress sideways, and she has a big ragged scar that runs across her collarbone. Where do you think I got this from?
I didn't look at Jeremy.
Jeremy shrugs. I was young and impetuous once. You know. Couple thousand years tends to cool the temper for some people.
Look, I've had a pretty rough day. We all have. I think it's best to. What time is it? Is it like midday?
It's like, yeah, I'd say it's like 8:30, 9 o'clock.
I said, how about we just I'll go inside, cool off, and just rest.
Yeah, let's do that. I think that you all look like you need a meal and a nap. I think we can get both of those arranged.
Ian's been passed out. Is that what we've said?
Yeah.
Who's carrying my body?
You were on the magic carpet.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Metal
you
would
were-
have been holding Ian
Just
up
curious.
until Rashaya stabbed Jeremy, and he's just like, okay, I gotta deal with this now.
Yeah, you were weakened at burning him. But yeah, you were on the magic carpet. So yeah, you all get a meal. And it's a pretty good meal. It's thrown together in haste. It's not a hot meal, but there are sandwiches and fruit and veggies and delicious cheese and bread. And Rashaya sits down with you all, and she reaches over and holds a hand over an empty carafe on the table and casts create food and water, and it just makes wine and fills the carafe. Looks like you all might need a drink.
Zarius is trying to pace himself, but struggling. He says, "Thank you so much. It's been a while since I've had a decent meal."
Oh. Do you always starve your companions?
Cervantes' face is just plunged into the carafe.
Did somebody prop up my unconscious body at a seat?
Oh wait, we gotta come back and get you.
I'm still on the ground outside.
Poppy's trying to drag you in.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna like maybe just pop a cure wounds into Ian, just try to wake him up.
Round devil!
How you feeling, bud?
Hello. I was having a bad dream. Sorry, what? Why? What happened?
Long story short, Davro died. So, I have a feeling that dream wasn't a dream. He's better now.
Okay.
He's gotten
Could we
better.
start with that part next time, please? You don't
Yes,
have to
yeah,
pause so
good
much.
start. Sorry. There was a fight between Rashai and Doremi.
Who won?
I have Davril, I guess.
Good for him.
Yeah, he really deserves it, actually. But we're now just here enjoying a meal, and I don't even know how. I don't have a mouth.
That
I
sucks.
can read you like a book, old friend. All you need is one glance to tell me all that.
Yeah. Oh, well,
Are you
The
a
other-
big rock monster? What are you?
and I'm just a metal so far.
Oh.
It's just like the metal, just featureless face that is his face, I guess, that has like, mud carvings all over it.
I imagine that when you sit down to a meal with everybody else, what you end up doing is just like putting the food into the various bits of flora and fauna that live on you. You just like basically have a compost pile
Yeah, I'm
somewhere
like
in there.
a walking compost. There's a lot going on in here.
That smells very smelly.
Yeah, it's effervescent.
This is why I spend most of my time outside. But Davril's alive. We destroyed that outpost that we wanted to destroy, so
Nothing.
that's good. Davril has some splaining to do.
Oh, he does.
Like,
He does?
I do?
you do.
Yes.
Like, who the fuck was that shadow thing that came out of nowhere and killed you?
I kept wanting you dead.
Like, he really went only for, I think he only attacked you.
Almost succeeded. Well, he shot at me a few times, but he missed.
Daryl, did you fuck that man's wife?
What? No. What? Why was that your first guess?
Wait, what?
Well, it is rather in character for you, isn't it, Dale?
No comment. No. No, I did not fuck that man's wife. I don't even know reality. Look. Long story short, we used to run in the same like Charlatan group together. Essentially, it was me and a couple other people. Him as well. His name is Stelbath Steelmoon. I don't know why it happened, but he ended up betraying the rest of us. He killed some of my closest friends. And then he fled. I originally came to this town because I was searching. Then got mixed up with you guys, and kind of all just fell to the back burner. And then I saw him. And I already let one person who I needed to handle get away, and couldn't let this guy get away.
I lean over to Metal. Did he get away?
Oh no, he did not. He is very much dead.
Good job, Davril.
You never found out
might as
why.
well just get a title of City of Revenge. This place just might as well be a home of revenge. Constant revenge goes around here and there.
How did it feel to kill him, Davril?
I understood where you were coming from. I want to say it feels good, but at the same time, it doesn't necessarily fix the issue. I lost my friends, I say mostly family. I mean, I don't know. I mean, how did you feel when you got your revenge?
I felt really good until that fucker came back. About 6 hours later.
Okay.
So I'm guessing you just stabbed him and then he came back. You didn't even make sure. to make sure he was dead?
No, I
Or did
made
you
sure he
try-
was dead.
Okay.
No, he
Something tells
poisoned
me you
him.
tried to use your laxatives first to kill him.
He did, but he then proceeded to beat him up in the bathroom before the laxatives could officially take hold.
While screaming his name at the top of his lungs.
Yes, saying, I, Cervantes, did this.
I would ask, but I think it might be better if I don't ask.
You'll probably laugh if you do ask. Well, Davril, I hope this guy doesn't come back to life and you have to do this all over again. But I'm happy for you.
I assume in the act of destroying the outpost, he was also taken care of?
I was going to say, can I retroactively take his head?
Sure?
Because I remember one time, Joseph's character, Lars, says, I could speak with dead people, and I was like, that might be helpful.
Yeah, except you were an earth elemental, so I think you probably just pulled his head off. Like the
Maybe
top
just-
of the
Oh,
The
test
spine
dispenser.
came with it.
spine
Yeah.
and all.
Yeah. You just fatality this man.
It's
Oh.
like taking the eraser out of a mechanical pencil.
Exactly. Exactly like that.
Well, while we're here on the subject, does anybody else have any unmentioned vendettas?
Asks the vengeance paladin.
I mean,
Or does
Toward-
anybody have beef?
depends what kind of beef we're talking about. Are we talking about like towards society, or like towards a individual person, or like a say a group of people that keep cutting down my goddamn forest?
You know, you can self-identify all you want, but I was talking about like Wagyu or like Angus.
No.
Is it weird that I don't necessarily have any so-called beef with anyone? I don't have much memory span, to be honest. Honestly, I don't think I've ever been outside the city walls.
No one.
Hmm.
Do you? Is there a backstory to tell from you? I know we have a rule: no backstories. But that's
No.
usually for people that we kill.
Am I
No one-
someone you guys kill?
No, unless no. No, bad shit. Don't take a player away from us.
Well, like I said, I'll be honest, I think I woke and might be in the sewers of the city. They just came out to, last I remember, is to fight, like I was told, but I never was really outside the city.
How'd you run into Subaru?
I'm sorry?
How'd you run into Subaru?
A fight broke out, to be honest. I don't know if that was very much of a blur.
Wait, when did you wake up?
About 10 days ago?
Was that your like
And-
first time waking up?
I would guess so. Honestly, there's been so much going on, I lost track of what day is. I don't even know what day it is today.
It's fuck. What's the I don't remember what it is. It's Tuesday. Anyway, so you don't remember anything from 10 days ago, before 10 days ago.
No. Was there some significance that happened before the 10 days I woke?
Civil War.
Yeah, about how many days did this whole thing start?
So
Don't tell me it was 10 days ago.
10 days ago.
it not quite. It's what it. So if you're counting from when you all liberated the mage jail and fled, it took you 5 days to get to, or 4 days to get to Waterdeep, and then I think you spent 3 or 4 days in Waterdeep, and then it took you 3 days to get back. And then, so that's like 10 days there, and you've been back in town for, I think, 3 days. So just after you left.
We
Trying to look at my notes for a sec.
where did you said you woke up in the sewers?
Someplace dark for sure.
I'm gonna sidebar real quick with Ian because he's the smartest person in the group. Do you think that no one was pretty close to the anti-magic field when we turned it off? And that's what turned her on?
Could be. If they're in the area, I don't see. I mean, it could certainly be an option.
I mean, can you describe no one to me real quick, Ian?
Ian.
Me describe them. I barely know them.
No, I guess I don't need to describe. I just look over at her and go, like, it's.
Make a perception check.
Am I looking at a human?
She appears human. Make a perception check.
Right? Oh, that's a nat 20.
Bitch, this another Warforged.
Okay, Ian, explain to me how her skin looks so skin-like.
I don't know she's Warforged. I would imagine because it's skin. Why does my skin look skin-like?
Oh yeah,
Yours-
I do have a mouth, and as you both are talking together, I literally drink from the glass that they gave us.
Um,
Do they still have their eyes blindfolded?
Mm-hmm.
Zaris kind of waves his hand to see if you can see.
I look at you and like almost tilt my head like, what are you doing? I can see.
no one, you're a Warforged, correct?
I'm human. I'm just as human as you all.
I mean, some of us
Shia
are
looks
human.
at the people.
Yeah.
All the people at this table. That's not really saying a lot, darling.
I mean,
I mean, I don't know what a warforged is. You look like a warforged to me. I'm pretty sure I'm a human.
Shia leans over and flicks the top of your head to see what it sounds like.
It feels like she just flicked a person, like skin and everything.
Well, other than the hollowness that I expect to be there, seems human enough.
I mean, I bleed too. I don't know. What do you want me to test something just to convince you all I'm more human?
I mean, I could take you apart if you'd like.
Don't take him apart. Her apart.
I was only offering. Mostly could put her back together.
I don't know if I want you to put her back together, though. Just don't take her
Whoa.
apart. No, not like that. It's just like, that sounds like a terrifying experience. I wouldn't want to be taken apart. I don't think I can be taken apart. I look at myself and the mismatched Warforged pieces that make up my body, and I was like, it would probably kill me if you took me apart, and it would kill her if you took her apart.
I'm sure it would.
Well, I think that probably depends on how careful you were. Had a lot of experience.
Taking
Okay.
things apart?
Yes,
Taking people apart.
sometimes.
What
Have
about
you-
putting them back together?
Sometimes.
Wait, that's worked?
Sometimes.
I guess that's what healing
Sometimes,
magic
yes.
is.
You know, trial and error.
Let's
No,
not
do not consent to this. If you guys
Good.
do ever want to do that.
don't consent to this, because this sounds like terribleness.
Well,
But
I'm much more comfortable taking apart and putting back together things made out of flesh. So,
well, yeah, but the thing that I know she's a warforged because she's not breathing.
and when you pay very close attention, your passive perception is very high, and you hear, instead of like a beating human heart like you would normally hear, it sounds very much more like the power core that's inside of you.
Like a low whirring or humming or something like that.
Mhm.
No beat, just a constant noise, like an engine.
Well, no one.
Hmm?
You just wake up in the middle of the sewers and you have and you just start like kicking people's asses. Is that what happened? Is that like your shtick?
Trying to think. I mean, that's what I remember waking. That was my first memory. Then I just remember constant battle from there. After fighting, just basically tried to find something new to do. In other words, I kind of lost my memory in a fight, and I'm trying to get it back. But that's the furthest memory I have.
You know, I'm beginning to like you.
Oh lord, there's a lot
Thank
of
you.
there's a lot of trauma llamas around here.
Another one.
In my experience, memory loss is usually fixed by another blow to the head. Do you...
What?
I scooch
You-
away.
You objected to me taking her apart, but you're going to give her a concussion.
Thank
Technically,
you.
technically, this is a restart button.
I'd rather not be reset.
Hard restart. Hold the buttons on both sides of her head
That's
at
a
the
good
same
point.
time.
I would not like to be reset either.
Wait, if no one's a robot, maybe
Oh,
like
Eden.
the memory kind of like faltered after a battle, and then like you were knocked unconscious or killed, and then they transferred your consciousness over to like a robot.
That's a disturbing thought.
I mean, I've never seen a Warforged that looks so human-like though before. Are you? I don't want to doubt you, Mel, but I mean, no one was just eating and drinking a few seconds ago.
I mean,
Oh.
I eat and drink fine.
I hate to ask stupid questions, but what exactly is a warforged?
It's... I gesture to myself. We are made of metal and wood and...
Oddly, you gesturing to yourself doesn't help at all.
It's a really stupid question.
This!
They're-
My
they're
giant mushroom hat.
constructs. They're constructed
Warforged
people.
are constructed animatronics, I guess you could say, non-flesh people. But I guess they're much more confused over why I have, like, my look human.
Our creation is complicated.
Like
A lot of-
very, like a fancy golem.
Yes, a fancy golem is a good way to place it, but it requires something conscious being put into the body, if you could call it that, the construct. Like myself, I'm the reincarnation of an archfey.
So if you somehow took that consciousness out, you Wouldn't
My
be
body
allowed to
would, my body would drop like a puppet cut from its strings.
don't tell Sebastian that ever.
That is how most people work, though.
think
If you take their consciousness out of their body, they just fall down.
Are we talking about souls here? Have we moved on to the more spiritual aspect of this?
I think
I
so.
believe I have heard of one Warforged that is many souls in a single body, and I do not know how that could work out. Sounds
Oh.
ridiculous to me.
I met him in an inn once, I think.
Same.
Makes a mean Manhattan.
I wouldn't know. I never ate any, but I did have a great conversation with them.
No one has anybody ever talked to you about a god?
No, no one else besides.
Well, today's the day. How do you feel about money?
Currency gives you me.
It's
or
more than
weapons
just
and armor.
currency.
Honestly, it was low on the funds to get that shield or the shop we were at last.
Well, if you follow Joaquin, you will never be without.
Joaquin.
Yeah.
Walking.
Joaquin. Waukeen.
Sounds like what a monk would say if he punches someone.
Well, I do punch quite a few people. But I'm not a monk.
Okay. Are you just trying to recruit me under your religion?
I'm not trying to recruit you, I'm just trying to...
Sell you something.
Yeah.
I'm just, putting it out there.
You're a curious man that I feel I should not trust for someone who gives others laxatives in their drink.
I don't know
He's
if he
the
was
one you
even
think
there
you
when you
shouldn't
saw me do the
trust.
laxatives. Look,
I don't think you should trust any of them,
I-
frankly.
really I'm doing people a favor. Most
They're the
people
First people who didn't try to kill me.
aren't doing cleanses like they're supposed to. And so there's usually like, weeks worth of stuff in their gut that needs to be emptied out, and I'm just helping them out.
And how does that work for someone who doesn't excrete? Ever met someone who doesn't excrete?
Well,
Well, that's a good sign you're not human, right?
what do you mean you don't
I didn't say I
excrete?
wouldn't excrete.
If you're consuming things, they have to come out one way or another.
Come out in little cubes. Like a wombat.
Little dark chocolate cubes.
They're just little like Pokemon baits from the Pokemon Safari. Well, you should consider it. Money's cool. Joaquin's cool.
I would think about it.
Also, we're very trustworthy. We're all about honor and ethics in as merchants and professionals.
Well,
Business
I'm with you
ethics.
all because, partly because you all are so far weren't the ones who first tried to kill me when you first saw me.
Wait, what?
So it's very common around here. It's just a person says hi, and then the blade comes out of my face.
Well, that's just called war, buddy. Also, you're kind of scary.
Me scary? How so?
You're blindfolded.
You want me? I could take it off.
I mean, it kind of adds.
What does it look like if you take it off?
Do you want me to take it off?
Sure.
So I unwrap the blindfold, and it looks very like human eyes, but her irises are colorless. Like it's like white, but with a pupil in the middle.
So how do you see if you're blind?
Oh, this isn't blind. This isn't. I'm not blind. This is just something I was told to always wear whenever I'm in combat.
Who told you this?
I don't know. I just remember hearing words I must wear at all times in combat. They will assist me and let me see things better.
Did somebody tell you anything else?
That's all I recall. And so far, it has assisted me.
You know, Ian has a special ability where he can take something and, like, tell you what the magic in it is, if you're ever curious to know what that thing is. Not that I'd ever volunteer his magic to you, but...
I like helping people.
I'd be frank, this is more of a personal token to me, because it's kind of been attached to me ever since. It's my first memory with it, too.
Fair enough.
And I would rather not be touched, other than me.
Fair enough.
But you don't have, like, any trauma, right?
Trauma.
Other than the screams of the damned, no.
Good.
Poppy says, I could take it.
But you don't need to take it. I respect people's things for the most part.
For the most part.
At least our friends. Unless they're being scummy.
Do I have to give back all the stuff I stole from everybody?
It depends what it is.
Mostly knickknacks and food.
I don't. I think you're good. It's if they care about it, then we don't want to hurt their feelings. There's a difference between a prank and a mean act, you know?
Davril hasn't noticed. I stole one of his spurs.
Is it bedtime?
It can be if you'd like. Yeah, you may engage in fuckery if you so wish.
I'm going to approach Doremi and go, Mistress Flowers, I have a question to ask you. Your lovely garden in the back.
Mhm.
I was wondering if you allow me to cast Druid Grove on it. If it doesn't have that on there to begin with. It'll just make this area more secure.
Certainly, I would look out for Jack, though. He sort of claimed that back garden for his own.
Of course, of course. I think I know Jack.
He will absolutely pick your pockets and drink all your beer.
Oh, that's fine. I don't have any beer, and the things in my pockets are... I don't have pockets. I have a bag of holding.
Well, in that case, don't let him talk you into playing cards with him, and you should be fine.
This horse can talk?
If you know how to listen. Aren't you a druid?
Yes, I am, but I thought you were, he spoke common.
Oh, no, I don't think... She stops for a moment. I don't think so.
Oh. Also, it's probably a good thing I don't know any card games. Anyway, I'm going to go to the back, spend 10 minutes and a 7th level spell slot to cast Druid Grove.
Okay.
What did that do?
Lars is walking around bewildered. This is the fanciest place he's ever been in.
The spell creates the following effects within the area. I can either create solid fog that it goes up to... it lasts for 24 hours, which sounds dope. I could create a solid, like, 30-foot radius fog, which is 10 feet high. In addition, every foot of movement through the fog costs 2 extra movement.
It does all of these things.
Oh, it does all of these things.
Yeah, which additional spell effect are you choosing? Gust of Wind, Spike Growth, or Wind Wall?
Ooh, spike growth.
Okay.
I just want maybe just a perimeter of spike growth. That way, in case any fuckery happens, they'll get hurt.
Yeah.
And then I'll warn everybody. Don't leave the grounds, or else you'll have pain.
Why would I want to leave the grounds?
I don't know. Zarius, what do you do in your free time?
Well, before all of this, I did a lot of working. He's almost crying. He's so overwhelmed.
Oh.
Zarius, do you need a drink?
No, thank you. They've already been very gracious with their drink.
Do you need a wrestling partner? I could turn into a bear.
Wrestling? In here? No, we might break something.
We got a grove outside that we could wrestle in.
You just told me not to go into the grove.
Rashaya points to the absolutely destroyed, couch and ottoman in the other room. It'd hardly be the first piece of furniture ruined by wrestling in here.
I wonder if the Davro did that.
Assumed it was an artistic choice.
Well,
But yeah, just don't leave the place, or else you'll be covered in spikes and thorns, and maybe maybe a tree will punch you in the face.
yeah. Yeah, you do this, and the really beautifully, manicured and, topiary trees out there awaken, And so there's one that's sort of been topiaried into like a unicorn, and there's one that's been turned into like a swan, and then there's one that's a giant frog mid-leap. Um, and the last one looks like a poodle. And they're awakened, and it is horrifying.
I want them to still look like the topiary stuff, just more wild looking. Maybe thorns going throughout the topiary, and like they almost look alive.
For sure. Yeah, they sort of take on the less planned quality of the flora that lives on you, and sort of sprout extra things and air plants, and like things get a little shaggy and pokey. What else would anyone like to do?
Take a bath.
Yeah, it's a massive bathtub upstairs. It's like set into the floor, granite. Saluna comes in and to show you where the bathroom is, and she turns one of the handles, and hot water just comes out of the faucet.
From the big bath. Actually, was curious about that bath too.
Recently,
So, you get a bath. Davil, were you gonna say something?
Devil has Dormy to help him to whatever room he's been staying.
Yeah, she does. And she very as you guys go up the stairs, she slides one hand around your waist and takes a little bit more of your weight than you're anticipating as you guys go upstairs.
I do lean on her a little bit more. Thank you. It is. I'm not gonna lie, I'm having a little difficulty walking.
Well, it's not every day. It better not be every day that you die briefly.
Did Rashai just tell you I died, or do you feel it?
Rashaya told me. I imagine I would have felt it eventually. You have one of my tokens, but our connection's not exactly the same as with my sister. Thankfully, I don't think it's bad form to sleep with your help, maybe.
Yeah, it's probably not for the best.
Yeah.
There was a brief moment as I was consciousness drifting on to that next life. I felt a brief spark. That helped bring me back on who I wanted to be. I feel like you are kind of that spark. What I'm saying is I wanted to come back.
I'm glad, because if you hadn't, I was going after you. That's what Rashai and I were fighting about. Oh, I'm glad you made it back.
Maybe back. I like put my arm around her.
She gets, she sort of melts into it, and you don't hear anything, but you feel her shake a little bit, and then the front part, like in the open neck of your armor, gets a little wet, and she's crying.
crying a little bit too.
Um, and she will, instead of taking you to the room that you had been staying, she takes you to the 3rd floor where her room is. Her bed is big enough to play football on.
Huh.
It's a massive canopy. Um, all of the beds in the house are very nice, but this is clearly the master suite for a reason.
I spent the night with Jeremy.
Operation Davriel Dick Down Part 3 complete.
How many parts are there, though?
Yes.
If those two go up the stairs, I'm just gonna like turn to Ian and go,
Just put a silent spell or
Ian,
whatever
like,
it is.
what team do you play on?
Oh, we
Like,
can play a game?
our guys, like, our team, I would suppose, you know? I mean, I have my own friends and stuff, but I do hope we come out on top.
No, I mean, no, I mean, like, have you ever had a girlfriend before, or a
Oh.
boyfriend or something? A situationship?
He gets a really weird look on his face.
Bubbles is sitting at the table and very intently watching this conversation,
Like,
not looking at Dravril and her mom go upstairs together.
I don't know. I'm sorry, sure,
You don't remember your sexuality?
I mean, yes, I suppose. I like people. I don't think I much mind what's below, but
Below?
sorry,
In their pants.
in their pants, in their soul,
Thank you.
whatever have you.
Thank you, puppy.
I'm gonna, I'll make a history check.
like actually checks to determine what you like.
15.
Um,
Do I remember?
you do remember. And you think back to very early on when you'd found all of your friends again, and that memory of that blue face that seemed so very important at the time, and you realize with a start that you know whose face this is.
Oh. Ian blushes. I'm.
Are you a virgin? It's okay.
No, I'm tired. I'm tired.
We don't judge.
That's what I am. I'm going to go outside for a second. There's a lot of it's a tight space in this room. He's just rambling and walking towards the exit.
Like a hot all of a sudden.
I want to make an
Bubbles leans
insight
over
check
to
on what's going on
Cervantes.
here.
Do you think that he is a virgin? I mean, I wouldn't have thought so.
Is he a virgin, or is he panicking for other reasons? 17.
He's definitely panicking for other reasons.
Oh, there's trauma there.
Well,
I just wanted to
is
know.
your love life without trauma?
Oh, it certainly is, but he's too young for that.
Is he?
I
Does he
assume
have-
Ian's younger. I'm 35.
He's a
I am
little.
not 35.
No, he's a little younger.
Should we like go help him or just? What do you think good friends do here, Poppy?
Me? Well, he didn't take me with him. So I'd also like to remind you guys that I'm like a month old.
Well, according to bro code, you just kind of pretend like nothing's wrong and like let him stew.
Bubbles sighs. And she says, "Well, luckily I don't have to adhere to that." And she stands up and grabs Ian's wine glass from the other side of the table and brings it out to him.
Oh. Yeah. We'll see how this goes. I'm gonna go listen.
Wait, which outside does he go?
I would assume towards what outside was closest to the dining
He
room?
would have gone out to like the back patio, but
Yeah.
presumably you would not go into the part of this yard that Metal has turned into a trap.
I don't intend to, but I'm not well.
We prefer the term "returned to the wilderness."
Right, yes. But yeah, I assume you go out on the back patio. There's a pretty big and comfortable lanai in the back. There's furniture, that sort of thing. I think maybe you need this. And a blue hand comes over one shoulder and it has your wine glass in it.
Thank you. I take it. I don't really look at her. I just kind of stare at the ground.
Your friends were concerned as to whether or not it was against bro code to come out and see if you were okay. And luckily I'm not burdened by having a penis, so I decided I could just come out and ask.
Oh, aren't you bold? I'm sorry. Oh God, it's been a day.
You were unconscious when you got here.
Yeah. I don't remember a lot, and maybe he takes a big swig of the wine. Maybe that was for the best.
One of those days, or one of those
One
lives?
of those lifetimes, yeah. Multiple.
Well, at least your ex-girlfriend's not full of spiders. Well, you've got that going for you.
I suppose. I don't know.
Is your ex-girlfriend full of spiders? Because
I don't
we'd have
think
something in
so.
common.
I don't think so. I don't remember a whole lot. But I think she was nice. I'm sorry. It's how are you?
Well, my mom's got a new boyfriend.
Hmm. Do you like him?
Davril, I do. I like him. He is, despite maybe his skill in bending the truth, I think that he's actually a very good person.
I agree. And if you didn't like him, I wouldn't like you very much. It's
Well,
a joke. I'm sorry.
I'm glad that I've passed that very low bar. Like one of the more charming members of your party. Actually, he is currently in bed with my mother, so I guess maybe it's a little bit higher bar than I originally
We don't
thought.
have to talk about that if you want to change the subject.
You know, I'm just happy that she's happy, and I would prefer to pretend that I was hatched out of an egg.
You're a good person.
Well, I don't know about that. My ex-girlfriend is a terrorist and full of spiders.
I don't think that's your fault. but prove me wrong.
Well, I did leave her here.
Why'd you leave?
I, I wanted to. I wanted to figure out how to be myself. And I couldn't do that here. Here I was Madame Flowers' daughter. I was Dick Slimchance' daughter. I was Subri's lover. I was everything but myself. And all I wanted was to be able to perform and sing and find that place that I was really alive. And it wasn't here.
Did you find it?
Briefly, I did. I liked it there. The Bard Temple, the people, absolutely bananas. People in Waterdeep are very weird.
Yeah, it's true.
Um, but on stage, it, it's funny. There's so many people looking at you. But when I was up there, it felt like it was just me. And I could be free. Like being watched, being witnessed that way. I don't know how to explain it. But it was like I was alone. Alone with the music and the song and my voice, and it was perfect. Sometimes.
Sounds like it. Well, I promise we're doing our best to make sure that that baggage won't follow you again if you choose to fly away.
Well, I wouldn't be a very good person if I let my mother, my aunt apparently, even Subri, I feel some sort of responsibility for. Wouldn't be a very good person if I left them to do this by themselves.
It's tough caring about people.
Yes. Almost as tough as it is letting yourself be cared for, I think.
Hadn't thought about that one too much.
I'm not shocked. You seem like an others first sort of person.
You know, it comes and goes. For a time, I was very much focused on a specific few. But I think the world is bigger than that. And that doesn't mean I'm going to stop, but that just means I'm going to save everyone.
She sort of bumps your shoulder and hips together. Says, I think you sound like a good person too.
Oh, I drink more wine.
She pulls a hip flask out of one of her pockets. Is it that sort of a night?
I don't know.
It's not a no.
It's not a no. I'm just terribly something.
Well, better than being nothing.
It is.
She'll spin the top off of the hip flask and take a sip and offer it to you.
I think I'm okay for tonight, but thank you. I'm just having. Maybe I was just hitting the head too hard. I'm having a weird deja vu. Happens. It's a lot.
Don't they say deja vu is the thing that didn't happen? Or the thing that happened before? Different life?
Maybe all too similar. Well, thank you for the conversation. I should really make sure that Poppy isn't getting drunk. She's a month old, and she will if I don't look after her.
Oh no, she's definitely drunk.
Yeah. Oh, you want to help me?
Sure.
And I'm just going to try and figure out where Poppy is and get her to stop drinking.
Poppy and Cervantes are having a drink off.
Yeah, they're having a...
Oh, no. We need water.
And Poppy's winning.
She's definitely winning.
This is possible.
You just hear tiny little hiccups. And there's like a line of shots where Shia has set up the shots on like a sideboard that she pulled out from the wall, and she set up shots, and Cervantes is on one side and there's nothing on the other, and you presume that it's Poppy, and as you're watching she sort of loses control of invisibility and pops into existence and pops back out.
She's a month old.
Well, she's a dragon, it doesn't really count.
Does it not really count?
Ian, you want in? I'm winning!
As you watch 3 of the shot glasses just empty, and at the third one Poppy comes back and her wings are like a little off steady. Am I winning?
Yes, in fact you won. Wow, congratulations. Wow, you get some congratulatory water.
Do I need a bath?
Do you need what?
Do I need a bath? Do I smell?
You know, you don't, but I probably do. Oh god, I probably smelled.
Bubbles goes,
No, don't!
I think you smell nice. I think you smell kind of nice.
I smell
I
Ian.
brushed again. I'm going to take a bath.
Cervantes drunkenly smells Ian. What does Ian smell like?
Drunkenly smell?
He's a little sweaty. Hint of soap. Smells a little bit like the weird stuff wizards use for like spell components. You know, like there's a little bit of chalk dust about him. Smells like old paper.
Guano.
Yeah, I mean, if you really smell, I don't. Does Ian even have fireball?
No.
Yeah, so no, he doesn't smell like bat guano. He just smells sort of papery and maybe a little dusty, but mostly like soap and sweat.
Get him, tiger.
If you're done smelling me, I'm going to take a bath.
You see Cervantes stumble up the stairs.
Yep.
Okay, I'll help you too.
Poppy ping pongs off of the walls and like knocks paintings over.
Excuse me?
Bubbles sort of just reaches out and picks Poppy up and puts her in like the big poof of white hair that she's got flowing behind her, and she's like, just hold on.
Is Bubbles there?
Mm-hmm. She's on the stairs. I would say that she slipped past you guys to rescue her family's art from the drunken fairy dragon. So she's probably like, maybe like half a staircase ahead of you.
When the two of them came back in and we started to make our way up the stairs, does she look like she has any interest in Ian?
Make an insight check.
What are you implying?
I'm drunk. I rolled a 10.
Uh, you you know, you're not great at figuring that out. Is the reason why you're a little bit overt with your flirting. You just figure if you if people want to fuck, they should just say so. Um, but when they're standing there, I would say that you notice that she was standing like just slightly closer to Ian than like you would, for instance.
Okay. Okay.
And when she leaned over to smell him, she like smelled like between neck and shoulder area.
Well, Cervantes did too, but for other reasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
So noted. I will keep this to myself.
Okay.
Cervantes,
Yeah, Ian.
you need a bath too.
Trust me. Women like the man musk.
Is that true?
You hear, yes? Come down the stairs.
You know,
Carry
sometimes, Ian, I know you're like a real tight, tight-laced kind of guy, straight-laced, whatever you call it. But if you just like let yourself ferment a little bit, like the pheromones just like really get the attention of the ladies. So I mean, and men too, I don't judge, Ian. I don't judge if you're like into that. If you wanna, and I'll keep it on the down low.
You know, I'll
Like
keep that in
like a
mind.
swamp under that armor, just.
You strip off and you've got like a fine like rind of sweat, like salt.
Sweat salt. Okay, I'm packing tidal wave tomorrow because holy fuck, Cervantes needs a bath.
Oh man.
Okay. Any other fuckery you would like to accomplish this evening?
Is this all just one bath? Or are there separate baths?
They're separate bathtubs.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a mansion. There are many bathtubs.
Got it.
Yes.
This big pool up here. I'm like, oh, pool.
No, that's like a fountain. They're like as actual bathrooms with
Oh.
like bathtubs and stuff. I mean, you could play in it. I'm sure that that's not the worst thing that's happened in that fountain. But yeah, but there are actual bathtubs and bathrooms.
Metal is going to make a giant lily pad in this pool thing and just like meditate on it.
Fuck, he
Okay.
ruined it. Alright, I'm going to my own bathroom.
Were you gonna take a bath in the fountain?
Yes. I don't know how bath works. I don't know.
Ah, water.
Water. Oh, fuck. He's using it.
After you take Cervantes to presumably put him to bed, you pass Bubbles in the doorway to your room where she has deposited Poppy.
Thank you. It's hard to take care of two drunk idiots.
Well, I've got lots of practice. The house has been full of more drunken idiots than I care to really remember.
I could imagine. It seems like quite the party mansion, for lack of a better word.
Yes. Yes. Lots of rich drunk idiots, and they're the worst kinds. So
The biggest mistakes.
yes. Yes, you learn a lot of interesting information that way, but well, not the best way to grow up, I don't think.
I could imagine it makes the choice to run away a little easier.
Well, certainly. You should have seen how hard it was to get out of here without my mom noticing.
It's impressive, honestly.
I had to pack myself. I had to pack myself into the box that was going to the grocery to be filled back up with vegetables.
You boxed yourself.
I did. I put myself in the box, the empty box that was going to market. And scared the shit out of the poor produce vendor when he opened the box. But I was already most of the way to the dock, so worked out.
Well, here I thought I was the clever one. I haven't
Well,
done anything that impressive.
well, I also had potato dirt in my hair for like 2 days, so
You had a snack for the way?
I didn't think about it that way, but next time I'll make sure that I pack some vegetables in my about my person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh. How... I should probably just go to bed.
Ask your question.
How do you feel about Subri?
Mostly ashamed and angry.
Why?
Because modified memory doesn't change who you are. So
I suppose that's true.
she had that capacity for violence, for murder inside her this whole time, and I mean, we grew up together. We weren't lovers the whole time. Not for very long, really. Maybe a year or two. But I didn't know. I knew that she was. I should have known. And to think that I was in love with someone who could hurt people like that. I'm ashamed. But if you're asking if I'm still in love with her, no.
Well, I
don't like spiders that much.
Me neither.
Oh, you're not in love with her either. That's good.
No, I don't like.
You're not really her type.
If it makes you feel better, I think we all have the capacity to do terrible things, to hurt people if we're given the right reason. But I don't think you need to be ashamed.
Well,
Because there's nothing wrong with falling in love.
no.
Okay.
I'm not ashamed of falling in love. I know what unchecked power does. Unchecked power is the reason that I exist. And the idea that I was with someone who would abuse that and seek more. I think maybe I'm not as good a person as I would like to think. I can't imagine that you'd sell your soul to Loth because you were angry.
I don't think I would. I've done things that I suppose aren't great and probably hurt people, but sometimes you don't know how else to help others. And you do your best to make up for what you've done. And
Yeah.
hopefully Subri started that path herself. Though this doesn't mean that you need to fall in love with her again, because that you can do whatever you want in that regard. And I'm sorry, I drank a good amount. I'm probably rambling.
No, no. I hope for her sake that I hope for all of our sakes that she is, but all we can do is our best. And she reaches over and like puts her fingers around your ear and pretends like she's looking in there. I don't see any spiders, so I think your soul's probably safe.
I don't see any spiders in you either.
Well, it'd take a while before you'd find it in all this hair, but I don't think so.
Well, I'm not going to try. It's very late and I've already been asleep for very long, but it didn't really feel like sleep, you know? I'm
I know
sorry.
exactly what you mean.
I think I need a nap.
Yeah, I think so.
Good night.
Good night. She sort of squeezes your shoulder a little bit and then walks to
Bubbles,
her room. Yeah.
before you go. He just walks up and he hugs her very tight. Thank you for talking to me.
She's a little bit startled because she hadn't pegged Ian as a hugger. But when you do that, she's sort of stiff for a minute and then arms come around you and she hugs you back. And she actually does smell good.
Sleep well.
Good night. She kisses your cheek and goes to bed.
He blushes again and runs to bed.
And his face is on fire tonight.
Yep.
Now this is healing trauma.
Yeah, everybody heard you come up the stairs. No one.
But
Yeah, everybody heard you.
Eavesdropping.
Everybody heard you.
I got
Bubbles
lost.
didn't. Bubbles didn't care because she doesn't feel like she has anything to hide.
Ian did not notice. He was very much involved in his own head and in the conversation and trying to keep those two things going.
I guess I would just walk past Bubbles, mostly just trying to find an empty room to sleep in. But I guess as I'm walking past her, I would stop and ask, "What is it like to be loved?"
It's, you know, that moment when you're waking up from the best night of sleep and you're curled in your blanket and it's the perfect temperature. It's not too hot, it's not too cold, and it just feels like you are waking up to the freshest, best day you possibly could. When it's good, it feels like that. It feels like a future. And when it's not, it feels like You're being run through a millstone. And you've yoked yourself to it. And even though you know it's grinding you apart, you can't stop it
Hmm.
because you love the weight.
Do you think anyone else could have that same feeling for me? That comfort of the right temperature with the blanket.
I'm sure. Love is not a finite resource. It's out there.
Is it something to fight for?
It's the only thing to fight for.
I'll admit, tonight gave me a thought with everyone talking about me and everyone's lovers. I never thought once I could be loved, but it gave me the question, what am I fighting for?
What are you
Yeah.
fighting for?
I don't know. But I guess watching you all, I guess just to be one with you all. Just be one like you all.
I'm gonna tell you a secret. And don't tell anybody else because it will absolutely ruin my reputation as a performer.
Okay.
I just pretend. I am just as lost and terrified and overwhelmed as any other person.
Hmm.
That's my home on fire. That's my ex-girlfriend blowing the city up. That's my mom. You all are my friends. And I'm just pretending that know what I'm doing. So pretend like you know what you're doing, and eventually you will.
Okay.
It'll feel right at some point.
Yeah. Maybe one day this whole city won't be on fire. That's another thing I wish to see. Just the sun rising with everything beautiful. No conflict having to worry about, no screaming. No scent of the wood burning.
That would be something, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I guess that part was what I was fighting for, but I wouldn't know what to do afterwards.
Well, you figure it out.
And that's why I asked you what it was like to be loved. Maybe I could find love afterwards.
It's there if you look for it.
Well, good night, and I apologize for eavesdropping, but I just had to figure out what it was like having a conversation of being in a personal life like that.
Hmm.
I know it's strange. I won't explain too much further, but like I said, all I've known was fighting ever since I woke up.
Well, that's a pretty common trait around here in this city. But I have to think about that. Bubbles looks like she is replaying the conversation that she just had and maybe seeing it in a slightly different light than the one that she had initially thought. Oh. I think you'll figure out the future when you get there.
Yeah. Well, I'll be fighting for your future, or for everyone's future. I guess that's what I'll be fighting for now.
Well, I'll leave you with a second secret then. You're also included in everyone. Good night.
Good night. No one would turn, like, pondering at the thought as she would enter a room that she hopes is empty.
Yeah, easy enough. Easy enough to find an empty one. So you all can take a long rest.
Finally.
Finally.
No one gets
That was-
assassinated in the middle of the night.
You are in a home that is populated by 2 demigods, surrounded by a druid grove, and air and lightning elementals. I think that probably you're safe for the evening. As much as Rashaya might like to have a little bit of fun.
Is there like a constant thunderstorm above the house right now?
You hadn't noticed it until you sit out there and try to meditate. But yeah, there's just like a rolling dark cloud just around above only the grounds here. It's not raining, but it's constantly in that state just before you get that first lightning crack in a summer storm.
Neat. Good to know. Not changing that spell.
All right, so you get a long rest. You wake the next morning. It is a beautiful breakfast. There's orange juice, there's breakfast beer. Seluna knows exactly what Cervantes wants. Rashaya has a bottle of champagne, and rather than make a mimosa, she's just taking a sip of orange juice and then drinking out of the bottle of champagne.
That. Rashaya, you worry me.
Me?
Yeah, you.
I'm just... Well, I've been alive a long time.
I know, but a glass would probably have been better.
I have a glass of orange juice.
Alright.
There's... it comes in waves. I'm sort of going through a hedonist phase for the last millennia or so. I'll grow out of it again.
Alright.
The millennia before that, I built a library.
Where's the library?
Yeah, where's the library?
Where... It's...
It was in Baldur's Gate, wasn't it? It's already burned down by now, isn't it?
No. You're going to think that I'm making it up. Where's the library? Oh, it's in the elemental plane of air. Uh-huh, alright. It's like saying you have a girlfriend in Canada.
Oh, wrong one. Same
Whoa.
thingy though. Same thingy though. It's
We'll
gonna
just
be like
we'll use the
insight
natural
check.
20, yeah. No, she definitely built the library.
Okay.
She absolutely is as she presents herself. She's rude and hedonistic and an absolute bitch. But she's lived a very long and interesting life.
It's just, I know you have to project to maybe maintain an image or something like that. But do you have to project it towards your family?
she had been sort of like entertaining this conversation with you, and you bring up her family, and you watch the fairly open expression on her face just shudder like a window. I think that perhaps you shouldn't talk about things you don't understand.
Zarius walks into the room.
Oh, Zarius, hello! Good to see you.
All
Good
of his-
morning.
All of his armor is clean, and he looks chipper, like he's had the best night of sleep he's ever had. And he says, "Good morning, everybody."
Good morning.
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 And he looks and he sees a giant spread for breakfast, and just sighs.
Not used to waking up to this, are you?
That reminds me. I know I may have pissed you off, but does anybody have a gem-encrusted bowl worth 1,000 gold?
Huh?
Oh,
Why
you
would
know,
someone
I
be carrying that
actually
around?
don't.
That reminds me, I need a gem encrusted bowl.
Why would someone be carrying that around?
Well, I could turn the spread into Hero's Feast, and we can get 2d10 temporary hit points, and advantage on all wisdom saves, and immunity to poison and being frightened.
Rashaya reaches inside her, she opens her vest and puts her hand in a pocket.
No.
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 No way.
No? Oh, all
I
right,
mean,
I'll
I
keep it
will.
then.
No. Look, Rashai, I know
Nine.
you're a businesswoman.
Unbelievable.
I'm not going to just take this for free and break it down into a spell. I'll give you 1,000 gold for it if you're willing to take that.
I think she was willing already, but we said no.
Metal. Do you think that I deal with anything so mundane as money?
Considering it's used in spells, yes?
Do you think that I need to use money to cast spells?
Okay, that's a good point.
She reaches into her coat and she pulls out a bowl and she looks inside and she's, oh. And she takes what was in the bowl out and hands it to you. And she's surreptitiously trying to put an entire handful of butterscotch candy back into her pocket without anybody realizing that she just had a bowl of Werther's Originals in her pocket.
And I will cast Hero's Feast. Everybody gets 10 temporary HP.
Nice.
Resistance or immunity to poison and frightened,
Sheesh.
and advantage on wisdom saving throws.
Bubbles is like halfway into digging into the food and she's like, do you want me to go with you? What are you doing today?
I was thinking we'd ask that after eating, because this lasts for 24 hours.
I still don't know if I should eat these magical grits or not.
I'd say go ahead. I could literally do this to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, all of us here.
They're magically delicious.
They're magically delicious.
She,
We like
She-
germs.
I hope there aren't any marshmallows in these. She continues eating the bowl of grits.
As we're eating, Cervantes is just constantly, like, throughout the breakfast staring at Ian with a smirk.
Ian seems really happy.
That's it. He just keeps looking at Ian, smirks, puts some food in his mouth, breakfast beer.
Has Bubbles
I'll
come
just-
down yet?
Yeah, Bubbles is at the table. She's like in the middle of eating breakfast. She's taken her big poof of white hair and she's braided it down one shoulder.
That's cute.
She's dressed very simply for Bubbles. She's wearing, trousers and boots.
And our proximity to Ian is
Like catty corner across the table, but only because like when she came downstairs there were already people seated in the chairs closest to him, and so then she just sat down where she could.
And
anyway,
Davro?
Metal.
Davin
Davin.
came down last.
Mhm.
Oh no.
And they sit at the head of the table. So Rashayo's on one end of the table and Remy's at the other end of the table. And that gash that had been up to Remy's shoulder is basically completely healed over. There's like the faintest light blue line on her shoulder. But she looks quite chipper this morning.
That was also a little bit chipper. New outlook on life. He's definitely sitting next to Remy. He comes downstairs, greets everyone, gives like Bubbles a hug, everyone just, he's enjoying life. Pulls up a seat, like purposely moves the seat so it's sitting directly next to Remy.
It's a little like first day of a honeymoon over there.
So,
Now Metal slams down the map on the table.
Bubbles is purposefully not looking.
Business time. Right. So,
Yes.
Map.
Meep.
we've
Oh,
destroyed
you
this
guys
up
are over there. Mhm.
pretty well, I'd say. Now, we don't know what that did with the general ecosystem, the very fragile ecosystem that is the city right now.
So what are you proposing?
Suggestions? Well, I'm just gonna say this is brainstorming time. What do we do next?
we tear down another one.
Which
Are we
one,
gonna
though?
do this slow and steady,
not?
or we're gonna try to take this to the heart?
Well, slow and steady usually wins the race, but a prolonged war could cause deaths to everyone.
Slow and steady does promote more deaths and probably more destruction around the city.
I mean,
Yeah.
probably our safest bet would be probably this one, I guess, since it's the farthest away from any sort of potential aid to that spot.
I was thinking the same.
I mean, if we want to speed things up, and I guess how fast are you trying to speed things up? I mean, the fastest would just be to go straight.
Yeah, fastest go straight to the golden pillars or golden spires and probably get killed in the process as
Most
these
definitely.
to drain to reinforce that.
It is their higher position. Obviously, they have more defenses that way. So unless we can go outside and sneak around, we can't really punch through those defenses. That farthest one, my only concern is, what exactly is over there in that city?
That is the merchant district. So it's businesses, and that sort of thing. So like high end businesses.
So if we'd
my
be
hat's
saving
with
them,
Pavel.
we'd be saving more like the economy of the city.
Well, it's more than that, no one. It's we need to cut off enemy reinforcements if we ever want to actually strike out to this area.
Hmm.
And
And we
we're
also-
talking about. Go ahead, Zarius.
No, I'm listening.
Well, this area is the area talking about the merchant district.
Mhm.
An enemy stronghold is there. If we could strike out and hit that one, destroy it, that's one less location the enemy can reinforce.
Okay.
What I am most worried about is our enemy's retaliation. We hit them, they're going to hit back.
This is my only thing in my other prompt. It's a 50-50. It's the technically if it's the higher end of the merchants, we're dealing more with the economy of this city. So either A, they're attacking with trying to protect that shit for all the money that they can gather here, or it's gonna be less because they don't care for the money and just have it defended.
Someone roll me a d20.
Oh. Four.
Okay.
Don't you okay me? What does that mean?
Look, I'm confident we can take out this stronghold easy peasy lemon squeezy. And then we take the magic carpet and we go to this stronghold without even taking a rest and we just beat it not so easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Are you suggesting we hit two? Well,
Yeah, I mean, how can they, like, yeah, we attack this place and they're like, send the reinforcements from this place. Oh shit, we're under attack again! And it's like the reinforcements need reinforcements and then they crumble.
So that's the thing. I'm trying to think this more long term, because if we do eliminate that, they're probably just gonna enhance their other two defenses, because we already knocked out one, right?
Yes.
So they're probably gonna buff up more of the defenses there. And if we don't take that out and deal with the other two defenses, it might take them longer just to send reinforcements because that's so far.
Yes, that's really what I'm hoping on. Though magic could just make it hard or impossible, because they could. What if they have teleportation circles there and they just reinforce anyway?
I'm assuming the only magical person here, Ian, might be able to disrupt those magical circles.
Well, here's your thing.
I didn't realize Ian was the only one with magic at the table.
I also have magic.
I can't. Well, I have magic.
Bubbles says that and rolls her eyes and sticks her tongue out at no one.
Magic circles aren't that big, are they? It's not like they can fit an army through it.
No, they can. I mean, it depends what the circle is. How big the circle is.
None of the ones that you've seen in the city have been large enough to fit more than 3 or 4 people. Like the biggest one you've seen had 3 people come through at a time.
Yeah, if anything, I mean,
It's not the quantity of the enemies, more or less the quality.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Me sitting here looking at how much the cumulative CR of your next encounter.
look, even if they
Maybe we should just stay.
look,
I mean,
if they send a high skill wizard in, it's fine. We have multiple magic users. We just counterspell her. We punch her in. I'm assuming it's a her. We just punch them in the face, and we win.
see, I'm all down to attacking that stronghold over there. That's my only thing, is how strong it is gonna be and how much worth it the enemy actually thinks it is. Because if it's very strong, we're gonna come back less strong to attack the other stronghold.
Yeah.
Well,
But that's why we don't attack the other stronghold. We go home.
what do you think about us attacking this first with our full strength, and then on our way home, we just casually take this one out too while we're at it?
That's like not even on the way home. On the way home.
You know, just take a little detour, knock out another outpost. Why not?
Yeah, so that's my only thing. That's just me being like trying to think. Because if we take out that one, I don't think it's as rewarding as if we would take out these two. Because we're taking out one of their major defenses and leaving this one all alone. So they would be stuck. If they were to try to attack, they can't. Otherwise, other than the teleportation circle, which would take days or hours to send through.
Well, I mean,
think no one-
so long as we're immune from a pincer maneuver.
I mean, the Radiant Heart could probably maybe. If we wanted to focus on the other two. Maybe the Radiant Heart could take this one, and I'd probably feel a little bit more comfortable taking this one. I feel like this one would be way too strong, given the fact it's proximity.
That is also where you know that the Slim Chant estate is.
This one?
Yes, that one is the Slim Chant estate.
Huh?
Oh, okay.
Let's not forget about the Shadow Thieves.
Also, we can't forget about other allies. We do have another secret ally that could technically attack here, as we're dealing with here.
So,
What if they want us to attack here?
I'm sorry?
What if they heavily reinforced here and want us to attack, expect us to attack here? Then we should just hit this one, or one of these two. Probably not the Slim Chant household. Maybe I'm overthinking it, and I'm playing too much Crusader Kings.
hold up. Our character. Would I assume Marika is here? That's her name, right? All right, guys. I have a plan, and I have a plan. If we wanted to take that one out, hear me out. Sorry, go ahead, dude.
Roll me an insight check.
I want you, Julian. I know you've been playing a Crusader.
I am playing a very dangerous game, but I have a way to sneak us in away.
Metal's gonna look at Lady Flowers and.
No, I'm not going to do anything like that. Look, I have the capacity. The reason I'm saying this is I'm not going to do anything. I promise. I said that earlier. Look, I know though. Let me just show you. I point my lamp at Ian, and I can now allow Ian to enter into that. What I'm saying,
Roomy.
what I'm saying is, if we need to, I can sneak you all in there.
Pop us all out, and we destroy the place
Yes, from the inside.
from the inside.
Yes, I would burn myself in. Essentially, is what I'm suggesting. Very risky. I don't honestly don't even really want to do it. But
You intended to do such a thing. It might be best to make the feint a little more intriguing. Say
What do you
we
mean by that?
did take out the far outpost in order to secure pretty much our flank, right? And after which they, I would assume, would retaliate in some capacity and take out one of our friends' places. But something to consider is the fact that Subri is still a wild card, much in their pocket to their eyes. So, if we wanted to let Subri cause trouble and make it seem like we were very hard, very down and out from what Subri was doing, it might make it more believable if you were to turn yourself in or try and swap sides before we reveal the turn of that. It doesn't have to be now, but we do have that.
I'm just saying, yeah, this is an option to at least get into the slim chance state.
Right.
Bubbles sits up from where she's looking at the map. I can probably find out if Marika's there or not.
How would you do that?
Well,
We should probably reconnect with Subri.
been a
also
day.
that.
Has it
But
been a day?
one
I've
day.
been asleep.
Bubbles gets up and she goes to the wall. Like she just gets up and walks down the hallway and comes back holding a mirror, a silver mirror that's about as wide as her shoulders. And she uses it and sort of scoots all the breakfast food out of the way, and she plops it down on the table. Well, here goes. And she puts her hand on the mirror. And she casts scrying. Let's see if what
Chen, you have a terrible poker face.
Yeah, this.
We should play poker sometime.
so she's concentrating for a moment, and then the 10 minutes pass, and you watch lightning crackle off the tips of her fingers and go across the surface of the silver mirror, and they turn into runes and shapes that any of the magic users, particularly if they've done any divination magic, would recognize. And they almost burn into the surface for a moment, and a fog rolls over and then peels back. And Marika Salimchant is in the mirror. And she's in a temple, it looks like. Cervantes, make a religion check for me.
I'm so good at that.
Damn!
You're like, wow, there's
Very
a lot of
pretty over there.
there's
Wow,
a
a
lot
temple.
of there's a lot of gold in there. Pretty. She's in a temple. It doesn't look like any of the rooms you were in the Salimchant household. There's a big altar, and there's a cast gold figure behind the altar. But there are cobwebs and spiders that have started to make their home in this place. And the gold, starting from the feet and working halfway up, is obscured by spider webs and just like a roiling mass of spiders. If someone else would like to see if they recognize this figure, you may roll a religion check.
Am I proficient in religion? No, I am not.
Sure.
That's right.
Do we have advantage after seeing the last altar to a
It is-
spidery figure?
It is well, man, y'all suck.
Sorry.
Not the religious type.
No,
No,
no.
the one we were hoping to be religious.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Ian's like, oh, I bet it's just Loth, and you turn down and look, and then you look at Cervantes. You're like, isn't that Joaquin? Seriously, if you had rolled anything except a 0,
Oh
you
my
would have
God.
recognized your own
I
god.
was drunk off breakfast
your
beer.
God.
Damn.
I question
Awkward.
religion.
Wow.
It's Joaquin.
This is embarrassing.
Um,
I
No,
don't think I'll be going to walking
Do
anymore.
you worship Joaquin?
Yeah, don't you worship?
He's Cervantes is busy drinking his breakfast beers. He's not even paying attention.
yeah, yeah. You and Rashaya are actually having a really self-absorbed conversation at the far end.
Like, this
of the
conversation to
table.
Cervantes should have been over a long time ago. He's like, "Yeah, let's just fucking blow this place up. That's it, easy." And then he's just like, he just starts drinking. He's like, "What the fuck are y'all doing?"
Um,
We
and-
stop her or something.
No, let's go blow this place up, but keep going. Or after the scry.
So you see Marika, and you see a number of other drow women, other priestesses of Loth, you assume. And you see Lismora, the cowled wizard that you fought in Subri's basement. And you see, sort of in this general vicinity, also Dick Salimchat. And unlike the last time you saw him, he is wearing full plate armor and looks prepared for battle. They all do, in fact. But you know, and any of you who are from the city know, that the Gold Spires is a monastery dedicated to the service of Joaquin, or originally was, and that I believe you all had the information when you were looking for Thay's Salim Chant, that is a stronghold. The Salim Chants had been funding the monastery for a long time, so it is highly likely that Joaquin worship does not, perhaps, happen there in the way that it is supposed to. Though likely a large amount of money has changed hands, so maybe it is.
Question.
Mhm.
Does this get audio?
She turns her hand like she's turning the volume up. I think if I need to double check, because I think you can only hear the person that you're scrying on.
Oh, so we can't hear all around her.
Within 10 feet.
Oh.
So, yeah. So she turns it and then like sort of tilts her head, and she's got that big set of like crystals that's growing out of one side of her head, and it almost amplifies like an antenna. And you hear Marika saying, "Well, of course, it would be very silly for them to come here. They would just all die. I don't think that they are that stupid. But maybe they are that stupid. Maybe they are that stupid, actually." And Dick is saying, "I think that we should just cut them off at the knees. We know where they are. There's no reason why we couldn't just go and wipe Madame Flowers' estate off the face of the earth." And Marika leans over and pats him on his armored chest, and she says, "Darling, I think maybe you should shut up.
Oh.
Because you know exactly who Madame Flowers is. Intimately. And you know that she's not alone there. So, perhaps maybe you ought to think with your brain and not your sword for a moment." And it goes on like that, and they're strategizing about where to send troops. In the 10 minutes of this, you hear that there is in the slime district, there's actually sort of a stalemate conflict happening between their forces and the Shadow Thieves' forces there. That they had sent in an amphibious squad to attack from the water, but the Shadow Thieves are holding them off. That's what the D20 rolls were for.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Mm.
Yeah. So it goes on strategy-wise, like that. And then, like, right at the end of the 10 minutes, Marika says, the person that is really the problem here is Dame L'Oreal. If you really want to make short work of all of this, I think we just need to, and then it cuts off.
Oh.
Oh shit.
Oh shit. Are we gonna have to reinforce the? I completely forgot about our allies. I thought they could handle themselves.
Forget. That's what I'm saying. We need to have our allies also engaged too, not just defend.
I think we might be on the back foot for this one.
I mean, do we support them? I mean, we don't know. Do we warn them? I mean, probably
We
from
could plan.
large.
So, one of my thoughts was there might be a chance that Subri gets information at some point, that she's tapped into an inner circle, or she gets some kind of clue that we can act on. And it might be best if we knew where to defend, and we might right now, to wait for that moment and whittle away at them where we can. In which case, I think it would be wise, given that statement, to plan an ambush with Dame L'Oreal.
Okay.
As you are, Cervantes drinking, you remember something that you read in Subri's papers last night?
Oh yeah, I did that.
Yeah. And amongst those papers were plans for planting and detonating essentially magical bombs on the walls around the temple district. Because that's where the bulk of the civilian population is holed up. And the intel that was in these papers was that like Tanis and the Shadow Thieves had infiltrated in with civilians, and they were hiding like wolves among the sheep with other people. And so the plan was to take the walls down and not leave them any place to hide.
Oh. Well.
We should probably stop that.
Yeah.
Lovely.
These
Just saying, we shouldn't be defending. We need to get those bombs before they detonate them.
these were plans I had from Subri that I read amid
Yeah,
combat in the middle
Yeah.
in the middle of our last conflict.
Bubbles looks up and just like her eyes get really big, and she looks at Ian.
Yeah, look at Bubbles. I don't know what it is yet. Just say it.
Oh.
Look, what if we just tell? I hold on the papers. Look, these fucks are looking to blow up Dame L'Oreal's walls and take down, because this headquarters here is surrounded by enemies. It's pretty. This is really stupid the way we have things set up. Really. Is there a way that we could foil this plan just by telling Dame L'Oreal, hey, there's fucking bombs on your walls. Can you, get rid of those?
I don't think they've been planted yet, otherwise they've been detonated yet. Actually, you probably could position their soldiers first to detonate those bombs.
I would feel more comfortable if we helped, personally.
Yes.
Even if the bombs are the... Well, I doubt they're the only threat, really. They just said they wanted to go to war. We know they have people, but... that seems like if they wanted to get L'Oreal, they wouldn't just tear down the walls. They would tear down the walls and then something would go in after it, right?
Well, that'll be never the case, but they're trying to eliminate the civilians and Dame L'Oreal, knowing if this Dame L'Oreal has people, it's also she's gonna be the one making a stand to protect those people. Seems like she's the biggest threat, and gonna use the people as almost like a trade offer, I guess one would say.
I believe the term is war crime.
War crime.
Uh,
Oh,
Let's talk war
can I
strategy.
see those papers?
Sure.
In other words, I think those bombs are the main threat. We need to get those bombs away from those walls, otherwise
agree.
she's fucked.
I'll hand over the papers and go. Our concern for Dame L'Oreal and the citizens is valid, but ultimately,
Or they're doing it, try to get to us. Maybe we're the bigger
how about we just ask her?
Dame L'Oreal or
Well, let's just show her these plans and say, do you think you need our help defending, or do you think it's wiser for us to assault? Let's see what she thinks.
it is much more heroic to just show up and like get rid of the bombs, don't you think?
We're not interested in heroics. We're interested in saving lives.
This is
Please.
war!
yeah. My guess is, if they are going to go the bomb route, kind of like what no one said, I would assume, Dame Laura probably wouldn't miss a beat to go try to protect people, and that'd be the best time to kill her. So yeah, I say we get rid of the bombs first, or do anything we can.
God, I'm gonna sound like the asshole here, but or that could happen, and their forces will be attacking there. Well, most of their forces over there. We could be attacking the head of the snake.
I don't think that makes you an asshole. I think that makes you kind of smart.
What if people found out you ever made that decision?
I'm sorry?
Out of curiosity, if you learned someone threw away your friend's life because they could have saved, not even saved, because they could have killed other people. I don't think that solves anything. I would rather defend people. I'm sure we can whittle them down in that way. And especially if they don't know where we know about their plan, we can stop them, we can cause harm, and we can save people at the same time.
I think if Laws was part of this conversation, he would already be on his way over to Dame L'Oreal's.
Probably.
I agree.
Saying that though, because she has, we don't know how many people she has held up in her cathedral, whatever she's positioned at. So depending how many people are there could be a lot more somewhere else.
Metal would know that there are probably about 600 civilians in the Temple District. And last count, and you haven't checked it in several days, and Greg did imply that they've been seeing heavy fighting.
Their forces.
The last count, there were probably about 25 paladins and clerics left.
So so we can go over there, try to help and defuse those bombs, or we can let it happen and make their defenses weaker, and we can attack.
Well, the plans don't specify when these things are going to happen, right?
No,
They don't.
Sabot says, now that you've told me about this, the chances that I do nothing are very slim.
Bubbles looks like for a moment she is going to destroy the plans that she's got in her hands. They're shaking, and she puts them down on top of the mirror and slides them back across the table.
I pick up the papers and read them. Is there something nice?
Even if you guys would like to go and try and assault somewhere, I don't want to split up, but I can reach you instantly now. Possibly. I guess I wouldn't know where you were, so it might not work, but there's a chance I could do it instantly. And so maybe we could be in two places at once. But I know where I want to go.
Remember, these plans were in Subri's drawer.
Right.
They're in Subri's handwriting.
Subri wrote these plans.
Yes.
Why don't we see what insights she has on them?
Well,
we do have time. They're preparing to assault. From clearly what we saw through the mirror.
Yeah.
Because if Subri can foil this on her end, that'd be helpful. Or if she can tell us the timeline or how to best approach this.
if we have Subri mess this up herself, that puts her in danger.
She is our technically devil spy right now.
Yes. And I think we could get some valuable information beyond something she already knows. We can
You
stop
put
this
yourself
ourselves.
she put herself in danger. I can call her.
I think she gave me a sentence.
I believe you do have sending stones also,
Yeah.
yes.
So I would give her a call. I can do that.
Or we cut someone who was protecting her for a little bit before I joined y'all.
Can you also call Subri?
I could, but technically that would be by letter. I don't really have magic attuned. I can just telepathically talk to her. But I'm sure I could walk in without anyone noticing. I'm also helping you all, because I was also technically her right hand for a while.
Fair?
Davro, you can call her and like use your fake voice if you want.
My fake voice.
What's your fake voice? You have a fake voice? Is this your fake voice?
No, this is not my fake. I'm just gonna call her.
Okay.
Bubbles, would you like to go outside while this happens?
Hi. Yes. And she stands up quickly enough that she knocks the chair over behind her. And essentially runs out to the patio.
I'm going to make sure that's okay.
Yeah, Ian, could you go check on her?
I want to say something, but it's probably best I keep my mouth shut.
Okay, so you call Subri. What do you say?
I want to make sure no one's around, or I don't know if we came up with a code word to let her know it's safe for us to talk. There's no one else around.
Okay.
So I just verified that. So
Yeah. Okay. I'll say that you all would have come up with some sort of signal.
Subri, we're looking over some of these plans that we took from you. The bombing of the wall that surrounds the temple district.
Oh yes. I had hoped that those may have been destroyed in the skirmish here. How can I help you?
Okay, I'd like to know a little bit more. Were these bombs set up? Are they in the process of being set up? We need to know. It'd be bad if they're getting ready to blow up the wall. We're trying to make moves here.
Well, the bombs are in place.
Okay, fuck.
They
They're probably gonna sold today or tomorrow.
All right.
They were meant to be a last
Okay.
last ditch sort of thing.
I'm getting up. I'm all right, we're moving out. Metal, grab your staff. Zarya, grab your shield. We're getting ready to move out.
Try to raise a hand later. Finish.
I'm walking and talking.
The intention is to take the walls down if the tide of the battle was turning. It's the most easily defensible position. Likely where both Tanis's people and Abet's people would retreat if they had no other place left to go. So it was meant to be
A checkmate.
a coup d'etat, actually.
Hmm.
All of the other most powerful people in the city are in the same place, well, then you ought not leave that place standing.
How much forces would be sent over there to eliminate those powerful forces?
Well, my part was just to get the bombs made and in place.
Are they like magically hidden or anything, or how will we spot them?
By means both mundane and magical. They're hidden in the walls.
They're in the walls.
Yes.
Goddamn
Yes.
They're in the goddamn walls!
How do we?
There
we
are
have to-
probably 45 Cowled Wizards, more foot soldiers. I
Would they send anyone else powerful over there?
Well, they've got plenty of powerful cannon fodder, if that's what you mean, but they're not. No, I don't believe that. I don't imagine Dick or Marika coming out of the Gold Spires. There's a dock there. If nothing else, they can run. But they have plenty of powerful people in their stables they could send. Not as powerful, but enough.
What would you believe they would send?
Mm. They would probably send a there would be soldiers, obviously, wizards, probably an archmage too. They'd send Inquisitor Magdalia, I would think. You have to remember they're assaulting wizards and clerics and paladins. They would need magic and brute force, and I think they would send both.
Mm-hmm.
You hear her cough a little bit, like she's choking on something. Marika has a boon from Lol. And I haven't seen it. Except in my nightmares. It's a spider the size of an airship.
Probably.
What?
And I'm assuming it might be over at those gold spires, right? Is that the location up there? That we saw on the scrying?
Mm-hmm. Could be. I got the impression that Marika could summon it.
So
I don't know if they would send it there, but, you know,
Gotta be careful.
Mm-hmm. While that's happening, my people were supposed to be assaulting the Shadow Thieves' strongholds on this side of the bridge.
Okay.
Can you redirect your people to somewhere else?
I haven't sent them out to do anything.
No.
This isn't the go hasn't been set for this yet.
When is the go? And that's for one question. But it sounds like most of their forces are going to be over there.
In the gold
Would they?
spires.
Yeah. Would they ever be expecting a counter force to their home base?
I wouldn't go alone.
Good.
It's not the plan.
We would be going alone. No one.
Um,
Because we're leaving our allies if we attack them.
I wouldn't go. They're going to send out a magical signal when they want to detonate the bombs and set off the final solution, I guess.
Oh God. Final. Don't call it that.
Is there?
I
Jesus.
do hate to say, but we're not alone. We do have these three to come with us too. Bubbles and those two as well. We have allies on this side too, from what I saw. Oh,
Rushaya has both her feet on the table and has
Yeah.
switched to just drinking champagne.
Nice.
And Doremi is only half paying attention because she's looking out on the patio to where Ian and Bubbles are. Only one of the women at the table looks like they're prepared for combat.
oh.
Is there any way to? Is there any way to sell these bombs? And can we do all of them, or do we have to go one by kind of?
They're set individually. There's not a single fail-safe.
I do
But-
have an idea actually.
I could teach you. I could tell you how to neutralize them. It's not that difficult.
Okay.
How?
Dispel magic of a high enough level.
Oh.
That. Where's Ian?
He is on the patio. So we'll pop back out there for a second.
'Cause I
When
got a
it,
question for you, Ian, but you're not here.
uh, Bubbles Bubbles is puking up her breakfast in one of the potted plants out there.
Yeah, I'm just holding her hair. I'm so sorry you had to read that. That happened. I didn't know. I'm sorry.
It's not your fault.
I know. It's called empathy. I'm
Is that what that is? Sounds like you're trying to take responsibility for things you didn't do.
I do that a lot. We're not going to let it happen.
No.
I promise you that. I won't. Even if everyone else goes, they won't. They won't. I won't let them. But I won't. I'll stop it.
I know. I know. It's different when you see it for yourself. You know, proof.
It is.
I'm very sorry that you had to see me puke. She
I
she wipes her mouth and subtly casts prestidigitation on herself.
If I had taken your flask last night, you might have seen me do it too. I am a lightweight. I'd. There's no way to make that better.
No,
If there is, I'm not smart enough to think of it.
no. But tell me it's not my fault that I left her and that that's what she became.
It's really, really hard to forgive yourself for doing what you must, for doing what you had to do. It's really fucking hard. But you have to trust that you were doing what you thought was best. And even if you regret what you did now, there's no way to know if hurting yourself, if staying in a cage would have made this any different, would have made this any better. It could have been worse. It's bad right now, I'll give you that, but you're here, and you can make it better. And that's what counts. So let's go make it better.
Yeah. As you start to go back inside, she'll grab you sort of inside the elbow and stop you just before you go in the door. She say, and she leans up and she says it basically directly into your ear. The worst part is I don't regret it, even if it cost this.
You're gonna get a chance to do it again one day.
Oh my god.
Well, not if we all die, so I guess we should make sure that doesn't happen. And then entrez-vous. So now Ian and Bubbles are back with the rest of the group.
Okay. Sorry, yeah, that song was playing quite a times of the feelings. I'm like, that damn.
Oh,
Okay. I'm guessing it's right when it said, "Where's Ian?" So he's coming through there. Oh, perfect.
right on time as always.
I think I have an idea to save the people.
I like where this is going.
Knowing, I don't know Damlorio's how powerful a magic caster she is, and knowing a few of you all.
Yes, the answer
there-
is yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we have a few options we can do. We can start disarming the bombs for one, but when you start teleporting people away, because it's gonna, regardless, there's gonna be a warfare whether they go off or not. So what I was
That's
thinking, if you can build a portal here, we can send them here
Where?
as the war is going on over there, so that way no one's having to worry too much about the lives they're saving. We can save as many as we can. They won't know they'll be coming here.
I like where your
takes-
head's at, but there
Oh.
are 600 civilians. in
That's
that
that's
fortress.
something I would have to hate to say it. We can't save them all. Regardless, lives are going to be lost here. Just know that they will not die in vain. They'll be fighting for a better cause. Cause honestly, where most people's spirits are where they're at is when they have nothing less left to lose. So as they get here, I'm not sure where the army is, but perhaps arm as much as we can, and maybe perhaps do a counter. Because most of our forces will be over there, but our forces will be here.
Not to put too fine a point on it, Rashaya speaks up.
I mean, that's just me being thinking or overthinking too much. But I honestly, I would want them here, where they would least expect it. It's a mansion after all. I'm sure we have enough room here.
For 600 people,
Not 600 people.
Oh,
but
just the ones that
estimating. make
just
it.
the ones that you. Oh. Not to put too fine a point on it, it takes years to inscribe a permanent teleportation circle. Just
Which
so
is-
you know.
I mean, I don't know, but that was just an idea, like how else we could try to do so.
Zarius sits back in his chair. He has listened to many of the points in the arguments as people have been strategizing. And then he leans forward. No one, I appreciate your thoughtfulness in this circumstance, and also, you've only been around for 10 days, was it? Well, I've been hearing stories about the Triple R for a while now. And what I've been told is that they are the last chance for the city. So, if anyone can save all those people, probably the people sitting at this table now. So, maybe we'll just take a chance. See how it goes.
Yeah. If not for the teleportation, we could send them through the sewers to get them here.
I'm not against an evacuation. I'm just tired of people telling me that I can't save everyone. Look, we have an advantage that at least we know, or there's a very good chance, and I'm very good at guessing the future. They're going to attack, and they don't know we know that.
No.
And so, if we could disarm the bombs, if we could find a way to use the bombs against them somehow, I don't know. If we could just intercept them before they get to the fort, there's options where we can do it. And I believe in us. And I see us doing it a lot. I see us. And I know it's a possibility.
Yep. And all of your solutions have involved magic. Well, I don't have any magic. I just have these. So, when you guys are done making your decisions, I'll see you on the magic carpet. And he scoots away, stands up, and trots outside and does a little stretch.
Thank you for your words of wisdom.
Next to the magic carpet.
The bombs are set.
Bombs are set. I believe those bombs are bigger than we think, which is why I think disarming them. I mean, we can disarm them, but then again, we can always rearm them back. I don't know how we could do that, but it's with magic, of course.
Yeah, I
The
guess.
Temple District is about 5 square miles, if that gives you an idea of how
That's a lot of
many
spell magic.
the size of the bombs.
I'll ask Subri, is there any way, if I still have her on the line, is there any way to disarm them without dispel magic? Or is that the only way?
I mean,
I'm... Well, there's no fell safe in them. I imagine you could just take them and dump them in the ocean as long as you don't care about fish.
What if you had a big enough anti-magic sphere?
I was thinking something like that,
We
actually.
don't have one of
they're
those.
inside the walls,
This is
so I
over
don't
the
know how
table,
we're
I'm
gonna
gonna-
get them outside the walls.
Sorry, this is...
Well, they're hidden in the walls. It's about this time that a whole grapefruit goes flying across the table. And Doremi has chucked it at her sister.
What happened?
Rashaya catches it and she says, "Oh, keep your pants on." I will help.
Oh, thank you
Really?
very much.
I take her at her word. She said she's going to help, and she's going to help.
Were you listening?
I was at the table, wasn't I?
You could be at the table. Your body could be at the table, but your mind could be somewhere else.
Oh, my mind's many other places.
That's my point.
Um, but
In other words, I'm asking for your input if you were listening.
If you can put them all in a building, I can plane shift it into another plane.
Okay, let's do that.
All right.
It's just-
Can you plane shift them back, or?
Well,
is it just one
eventually,
way?
yes. I'm not going to leave them
Okay.
there to starve to death. They'll have to stay for like 24 hours or so. I can only do. It's a lot. It's a lot.
So we get to the Radiant Heart, get as many people as we can into a single building, and then Rashaya plane shifts them away. Then we attack the bomb locations, or
I will need to add that I'll have to go with them, just so you're not counting on having godhood on your side or something while you're there.
Okay. Then, if that's the case, we could potentially set a trap for them.
Mhm.
So, the thing is, they need to know it actually went off, though. Can you cast Major Illusion, Ian?
I think I might be able to do something better.
Okay. Because they need to believe it actually went off, but those bombs didn't actually go off. They'll send their troops in, but we do need Dame L'Oreal and the other paladins and clerics in there. We need to believe them those civilians are still there and the explosion actually went off. And they're inside, boom.
I don't think I could affect the entire Radiant Hard Citadel.
That, I'm
But
gonna ask, everyone just confirm me that Dame L'Oreal is also a powerful magic.
not of the
Maybe
same
she-
kind of eye. Closer to our friend Cervantes.
she's a powerful paladin. However, she and the other paladins and clerics have been fighting this entire time. They may be exhausted when we get there.
True. Maybe we just need to trick them to believing the bombs went off. That's my point.
Let it be known also, we will have godhood on our side, just not that kind of godhood, as I look at Rashaya.
She, your god? Is what you're betting?
Joaquin supports all of
He's-
us.
Rashaya does like a whoop-de-doo finger motion. Yes, yes. I prefer a limited amount of godhood because then I can effect more direct change. Also, prayers seem tedious.
That's just my plan. What I think we should do. Set up a bomb for them, because it will eliminate the majority of their offensive and possibly defensive capabilities. Because it sounds like they're sending like a good chunk of their powerful infantry over here.
It could work. How about we go over
Metal,
there?
make me a... Just make me a general wisdom check.
Oh, 10.
You're sitting there and you're thinking, and this whole time you're thinking, you're like, what? And then you go, motherfucker. There's a spell, a druid spell, that would probably help. The Mirage Arcane.
That's the thing. It's not just for druids.
There you go.
Oh,
I can probably cast it twice.
no.
Oh, you
I
could
could
I
cast
could cover an
Orion.
area of 2 miles myself. We have 5 miles to cover.
It's a 7th level spell.
I have the one. I chose the reverse gravity today because I thought that would be fun. No ground for you.
You do know a very high level druid
Oh shit!
Beto
Who, unlike
shit was
Rashaya,
meant for something.
does work for money.
You're right, the unicorn.
How do you all? How do you all feel about a shopping trip?
Right now, as we're planning,
How much money do I have?
Yeah, let me check my money.
I
I
think
got a
only
lot.
Ian has money.
That's so much money.
So much money.
Bubbles leans over to Ian. You have a lot of money.
He's blue, but he's turning purple. If that's close to red.
Will you buy me a platinum sword?
Yes, if you promise not to get hurt.
It's for a spell component, not for stabbing.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Thank you.
so
Ew.
before we go with shopping spree, I still want to know what our set plan is, because I'm just throwing plans out there to try to save as many people as we can.
We gotta either way we gotta get to the Radiant Heart. Probably pile a bunch of people into a single building. 600 people into a single building. Can be done, maybe. Plane shift them, find the bombs, possibly disarm them.
At least try to remove them.
Rewire them.
Disarm or remove, or just displace their bombs, maybe kill their troops. We're probably definitely going to be killing the troops if we're going to be moving over there. They could be surrounded right now for all we know. But
Davro, do you still have Subri on the line?
I imagine. Yeah.
Is there a way to rewire those bombs so they will go off on our terms?
So apparently you think that I'm an idiot. No.
She knows how to arm a bomb.
They're magic bombs. She was involved in the creation of these magical bombs.
Yeah.
They're not. It's not like TNT and wires.
I was curious.
No,
this
it could-
counterspell would disable, or dispel magic would disable all magical traces of it, but
Yeah.
someone else's put their magical traces on it.
I mean, for a literal moment, I can make it disappear. And then you have 6 seconds until it explodes again.
I see.
But
I
that's a lot of time. You could do one thing.
Everyone could do one thing.
Everybody could do one thing. Oh.
Ah!
Oh. Sorry, so it's like, I'm out, motherfuckers.
Sorry.
So, it is getting late, and I believe that stratagem is the thing that we're doing. So if you would like to do that offline, I'll use some jargon. You could do this asynchronously, and then you can maximize the amount of teamwork that you've got. I'm part of the senior leadership team. It's great. So you can sort of, yeah, you can work on ironing out the details of your plan
Yeah.
asynchronously. Because of the things that I prepared, that was not one of them.
Oh.
Well,
The thing you prepared was the assault on like one of these outposts.
Uh-huh.
likely.
I also prepared for you to go assault the Gold Spires.
Yeah.
You know us so well.
Yeah.
I'm the
You're
one
right,
that
let's
like,
just
oh
cut
yeah,
the
we
head
should
off the
go, and they're
snake.
attacking there.
Yeah, I prepared that. I prepared that first, actually, and then I was like, I should probably prepare something a little bit lower stakes, just in case.
You know us too well.
And then
Yeah.
you were like, we're going to activate the surprise trap card. I'm like, well, I didn't plan
Right.
that one.
You're welcome.
Surprise.
She didn't think we'd read the Subri notes.
No, I did put in my notes that Cervantes read them. I was like, God damn it.
Then
Now they
he's
know.
reading. Then before playing with me, planning all that stuff. Counter trump card, pulling being the asshole, or to leave, bring the asshole, leave everyone to die and get the head of the snake.
But this is the first all roleplay session we've had in a while. Did you
Yeah.
miss it?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
That was nice.
I've had a lot of all combat sessions.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I
The
think
next
we've
time
had
it's all shopping.
Yay!
absolutely not. Aster's gonna kick y'all out.
Oh my god, I have a lot of money.
I know. You're the only wizard I've ever met who doesn't spend their money.
How much? How much
I'm
gold do you have?
saving it.
For what?
For a rainy day.
Yeah.
For the future that he's not gonna get to live.
Forever for when everyone
Oh.
dies.
Yeah.
And they loot their
Funerals.
pockets and they go, oh my god.
That's
He's saving up money to hire the unicorn to help us in the next fight.
Yeah. There we go.
I think she said 5,000 was her minimum rate.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
This would be okay. I'm like thinking now because if she can plane shift only apply to humanoids or targets?
She's plane shifting the whole building.
Oh, the whole build.
Yes. She's
But
plane
wouldn't the-
shifting the building.
But
With
wouldn't
the
the bombs
people
go
in
with
it.
it then? But wouldn't the bombs go
The-
with it?
The bombs are in the wall outside of the so the district itself, the whole thing is 5 square miles. There's a wall outside around it. Within the temple district, there are lots of buildings. One of them is the Order of the Radiant Heart, but there are temples to other gods in the temple district. So the bombs are in the exterior wall.
Now that I think about it.
I was thinking it differently then. I thought they were like inside the radiant heart walls. Okay, never mind then.
The idea is take down the outside defenses.
Yeah, I was thinking the bombs were already inside. Okay, that changes my whole idea splurge thing.
Yeah. Okay. So
Punch him.
yeah, punch the bombs.
Punch the
I
bombs.
was just gonna punch the bombs.
Gonna punch the boss.
How bad could it hurt?
Bombs. Punch the bombs. I'm so excited. I was planning the Gold Spire situation, and I was like, I really hope they bring people with them. I really hope they do.
You know who we are?
Yes.
Triple
Oh, I'm aware. So I'm glad you're not getting all your allies killed.
Yay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did it?
Well,
Most of them.
yeah, you haven't fucked up yet.
Oh.
Yet.
Better than last time.
Yeah. Okay. So, plan in the intervening week. You're like, no, we're gonna spend the first 45 minutes of our next session also doing this.
No, we're just gonna go straight forward.
Cervantes like, we're
Remember everything we
going
talked about
now.
last time? Fuck it. Let's just
Nah.
go over there and punch some bombs.
Let's just get him.
Roast some bombs. Might as well suplex it.
You know what? The Golden Spires actually sounded pretty cool.
You know what? That's fine. Just let me know because I already have that prepared. It's great.
Well, guys, let's make Jen's life easier.
Yeah.
Let's just go to the golden.
You know, I'm sure if a couple hundred civilians die, it'll be fine.
That won't at all trigger a bad ending to this.
Oh, bad ending.
No, bad endings make me feel sad. This is why I can't play Renegade in Mass Effect.
All right,
I don't want a
guys.
bad ending.
Bye-bye.
Good
Good night.
Good night.
Adios.